Christian Noyer joins me here on set. He is the point man, the special envoy for Brexit for France, Honorary Governor of the Banque of France, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
I've told half the story there. So what is your job? What are you charged with? And maybe you can explain that by telling us what you're doing here in New York.
Well, after the referendum in the UK that decided for the Brexit, the government asked me to make some analysis about the likely consequences of Brexit and what would be the possible strategies of global financial institutions, and see in which way we could possibly facilitate the deployment of this strategy. So that's what we've been doing. I was thinking that it would be impossible for the UK exiting the EU to remain in the single market. That has been confirmed by the British Prime Minister. I think correct analysis, the conditions to be met are not politically possible for the UK. That's what I understand. So it means the global financial firms we have, which are heavily working in London and from the London base all over Europe, will have to relocate not everything, but some activities. And now I'm here, as I've been in many other places, to discuss with those financial institutions what could be the strategy and try to show that Paris would be an interesting opportunity. I mean, because it's already the second financial place far from London, but still having the whole range of financial activities. So that's the kind of thing we discuss.
Bloomberg today reporting that Barclays is going to move its hub from London to Dublin. Of course, one of the cities against whom you're competing. What is the pitch that you're making? What are you telling these financial services companies about Paris? Why is it the place for them to go?
Well, you could as well, as I've taken another example, HSBC.
HSBC, of course, a higher magnitude as well.
Saying they would go to Paris. No, I mean, we need still to see how exactly they will organize themselves. I mean, I don't exclude, to say the least, that even Barclays, they will certainly make a number of things in Dublin, as they have said, but I expect that they might develop also what they have already in Paris, so that it's a bit more complex than it looks. But the major arguments are probably that Paris is the only big city comparable to London in Europe. I mean, all other places we're talking about are relatively small cities. It's an attractive city, so it's easy to attract staff there. There's a pool of talents. We have tens of thousands of young French working in the city of London. So it means that the education system is providing every year a generation of people able and willing to work in the financial market industry. That's basically, I mean, there are many other things, but that's basically the main assets.
Is the tax environment in France something that's precluding companies from jumping at the chance to move to Paris? Do you think there has to be some reevaluation of the way the taxes are set up?
Yes, certainly. There's something we're looking at. There were already things that have been decided and voted in the last budget law last December. For instance, the regime for income tax for people coming to France from abroad, which is very comparable to what exists in London for foreigners or people coming back, has been enhanced and it's quite attractive. I think apart from London, it's the most attractive in Europe. But there's also a vote by Parliament to cut the corporate tax rate significantly. So that there are other things that need to be done, probably can be done only after the elections now. But yes, we are working on that and on other issues like the flexibility of the labour market, for instance.
We focus on what the uncertainty means for the United Kingdom about Brexit, how that's playing out in the British economy. How is it playing out in the French economy? This period of uncertainty about when this is going to happen and what indeed is going to happen. Mark Carney, the governor of the Bank of England, saying that the financial stability perspective, it could be worse for Europe than it could be for the UK.
Well, we don't believe at all that there can be a problem for the financing of the European economy if there are changes in the way the financial industry is organized. I think this is, of course, if instantly London would disappear, that might be a problem. But that will be true everywhere. But especially for France, but because we have strong actors, not only French actors, but also foreign actors already very active in Paris. I think there's absolutely no problem for the financing of our economy. But more broadly for the Eurozone, I think it's not a structural issue. The way we were organized 25 years ago, with a much stronger financial place in Paris, in other places like Frankfurt or others, means that we can rebuild something in a couple of years as strong and as efficient as what we have today.
The issue of clearing has been very important to you for a long time, going back to your days with the Banque of France. When do you think we'll get clarity on that, whether or not clearing will continue in London or it'll have to be moved? Do you have any sense of what that timetable will be?
Well, I think the decisions will be taken probably just after the exit and with some time to comply with that. One has to understand that the issue of clearing is really for the Eurozone and the European Union authorities a matter for financial stability. I mean, we had accidents in 2011. We realized at the time that the mandates, the remit of the authorities, the market authorities in London were not aligned with the interest of the Eurozone, and that decisions could be taken that were adverse for the euro area countries. So this is why the French government, but also the German government, the Italian government, the European Commission, the European Central Bank, etc., have taken a strong stance in principle. As long as the UK was in the EU, of course, we had to accept that the rule was things can take place anywhere. And there were European agencies, supervisory agencies. There were things like the Stability Board with the ECB, where the Bank of England was participating, that helped to mitigate somewhat the risk for financial stability. After the UK leaves the EU, it will be a must. Of course, it doesn't mean that 100% of the clearing has to be done in the Eurozone, but if 10% is done in New York and 10% is done in London, it's not a big issue. But the bulk of clearing should be done under the supervision of our authorities, central bank and market supervisors.
Thank you very much for your time today.